Now let's look at our mixed number and our fraction. Our mixed number is 1 and 3/5, and our fraction is 4/6. And remember, I said you're taking away 4/6 from 1 and 3/5. The way we do that is we are going to represent our mixed number as a bar model. And remember, you can use so many strategies to change from a mixed number to an improper fraction. But I want to break this down to you so that you can see what it is that we are doing essentially. You want to represent your whole first, and then you want to represent your fraction. And we know that 5/5, let's write it out, 5/5, and this is 3/5. Remember, that's the same thing as a whole. And you look at your fraction to tell you our fraction is 3/5 and our denominator is 5, which is why we break up our bar model into 5 parts. When you add that together, you are left with 8/5. 1 and 3/5 is the same thing as 8/5. And now we are going to represent our 4/6. Your denominator tells you how many parts to break your bar model up into. And since your denominator is 6 and your numerator is 4, we know that we needed to shade in 4 parts. So let me actually write this on top so that I have space. And let's remove these things at the bottom to show that we are finding common denominators. What we need to do is first take our 8/5, which is what we have down here. And we're also going to look at our other fraction, which is the 4/6. But we're not going to shade in 4 parts. We're just going to take our denominator from that part and we are going to put it the same way how we put it here. It's the same way how we are going to put it in our new table. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you have 6 parts and we can label it 1/6 plus another 1/6. And I know these lines are so tiny, but you need to have 6 of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do another one. We need to have 6 of the 1/6. And you can see that here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 1/6. And going across, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing I did not explain is that notice that you have 2 holes going on right here. You have 5/5 right here, and you also have another fifth going on. You have one, sorry, let's fix that. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 2 holes, 5/5 and another 5/5, which is why we have our 8/5. Whenever you have an improper fraction, you know that you need 2 bar models and you need to put those together. So we have this right here. And what we're doing to find our denominator is we are multiplying 5 times 6 because 5 is, remember up here, that's the total parts that we break it up into. And we know that 5 times 6 is equal to 30. And then you're going to count the total amount of parts that are here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have 6 going down because we already counted them. 4, 5, 6. And we're doing 6 times 8, which is 48 thirtieths. I hope you're following me so far. If not, pause and then go back. And now we need to change our next fraction. But remember, the reason why we did this is so that we can look at our 8/5 and we can know that 8/5 is the same thing as 48 thirtieths. Now to do our 4/6, because we need to find out what's the equivalent fraction for 4/6. We already know that our denominator is 30. So look, we can just go ahead and we can find it. So once we already find one denominator, then we know that the other one is going to be just as easy. But let's go back to the bar model. You break it up the same way how we did it here. But this time we are going to take the 5 from our 5/5 or our 8/5, and we're going to break up that bar model into 5 parts. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. And that is our equivalent fraction right there. But we're not done because now we need to subtract them. Now you have 48 thirtieths, and you're going to take away 20 thirtieths from that. When you take away 20 from 48, you're left with 28 thirtieths, and we can break this down. Divide both of these by 2, and we see that our answer is 14/15. So your answer is 14/15. Very cool, using the bar model. Let's try another example, but without the bar model. Here you have another example. Remember, we're doing fixed number minus fraction, and we're looking at unlike denominators. So you have 8 and 2/4 minus 4/9. Again, you're taking away 4/9 from 8 and 2/4. And we're going to find equivalent fractions. You have 8 and 2/4, and you have 4/9. Find multiples of your denominators and then see where they meet. In this case, your LCD is 36. So we're going to set our new denominator as 36. And in this case, we are going to keep our whole number. We're not going to do anything with it as yet because our whole number is greater than 1. 8 and 2/4 is the same thing as 8 and 18/36. 4/9 is the same thing as 16/36. And now that our denominators are the same, what are we going to do with them? That's right. We are going to find, or we're going to subtract our numerators and keep our denominators. We're still not doing anything with our whole number as yet because now we have two fractions that we're working with and their denominators are the same. So we can subtract 16 from 18. That's equal to 2 and your denominator is still 36, keep your whole number. 8 and 236 can be broken down to 8 and 118 because if you divide both your numerator and your denominator by 2, so divide that by 2 and divide that by 2 as well. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 36 divided by 2 is equal to 18. And there you have it. Another way that you can solve.